Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Anders. I work as a managing consultant for the Nordic consultancy Knowit. Do any of you guys still have a personal bank teller? Some guy in the bank office that you go to chat to about your bank accounts? I'm guessing no. What bank office, right? I don't talk to my banks a lot either, but sometimes I talk to my Amazon Echo when I'm lonely. And sometimes, like right now, I'm wondering how much is in my savings account. Let's find out. Alexa, how much is in my savings account? Okay, let's see if the microphone is on. Once more. Alexa, ask S-Banken how much is in my savings account.
Your savings account has a balance of 2.0 kroner.
Ouch. That's bad for my holiday, right? Okay, let's see how much I have if I had got my paycheck recently. Alexa, ask S-Banken how much is in my checking account.
Your checking account has a balance of 1,998.0 kroner.
Okay, it's not much better, but it's something. But I'm trying to limit myself, not using everything, so I think I'll transfer something to my savings account. Alexa, ask S-Banken to transfer 100 kroner to my checking account.
Your checking account has a balance of 1,998.0 kroner.
I misspelled. Alexa, ask S-Banken to transfer 100 kroner to my savings account.
$100 kroner has been transferred from your checking account to your savings account.
Okay. I'm happy. Let's see. So, I like to live dangerously, so I'm starting a 10-minute talk with a live demo. So this is a demo of a custom Alexa skill that I wrote in Python, deployed as a serverless function in AWS Lambda, calling the S-Banken Open Banking API to access my own personal banking accounts. That's pretty cool. So let me show you how I did it and why it's possible. So let's start with the why. And apparently in 2018, we're going to do all our banking through third parties, not actual banks. How come? Because PSD2, that's why. So there's a lot to say about the EU second Payment Services Directive, but this is pretty much the TLDR. So PSD2 requires that banks open up their accounts system to third parties so that they can access the accounts of customers by their consent, aggregate the information, and perform payments. So the banks have to provide access to these third parties through open APIs, and thereby enabling the third parties to build new financial services on top of the bank's data and infrastructure. So banks will no longer compete only against other banks, but anyone wishing to offer financial services. So Norway, as a member of the EEA, we're no exception to the rule, and the directive will be implemented here sometime in 2019. And all the major banks in Norway, they claim to have started creating APIs for third-party access. Up until now, I must admit I've been a little bit underwhelmed, with a few notable exceptions. And one of these exceptions is Skandiabanken, or S-Banken as it's called now. Are there any S-Banken developers here today? Oh, do you know your work on the Open Banking API?
No.
Oh.
I'm a consultant, but I just started.
Okay. Well, give my kudos to the ones who did.
We work on utilizing them
Okay.
in-house.
Cool. Good work. Now, S-Banken is not the bank with the most comprehensive API documentation, not the most elaborate testing environment or advanced analytics. But what they do provide, which I really like, is like an unbeatable value proposition. It's giving me, as a developer, access to my own personal bank accounts. And as a first MVP of an open banking API, I think that's really cool, because it allows me to test the most riskiest assumption. Can I provide an S-Banken bank user myself with added value? And by limiting the API functionality to confine to my own bank accounts, S-Banken also created a really effective sandbox for testing, while still working on the actual production environment. So for example, at the time being, I can transfer money between my own accounts, but I can't transfer to outside accounts or pay my bills. So no matter where I screw up, the money is still mine. I'm thinking infinity loops and stuff, yeah. We're a bad thing. So how do you get access? You jump through some hoops, and in the end, you get a client ID and a secret. Now this provides you with access to all the accounts and all your customer data, so don't put this in your source code and put them out on GitHub. It's a really manual process right now. All the APIs are documented with Swagger. It's good. And there is a really decent GitHub page with a lot of examples using different languages. So I recommend you check them out. So the S-Banking APIs have been really popular with my colleagues that know it. And I've seen at least a couple of different command line clients, written in Bash, written in Rust. And as you heard earlier, I made a custom Alexa skill. So skills, they're basically the apps that you can run on Alexa. I'm not going to do a breakdown of what Alexa skills are, but they look pretty much like this. It's the anatomy of an Alexa custom skill. So the Alexa service platform in the middle here, they provide, they do all the difficult parts, the speech recognition, mapping of the voice commands to intents, and handling the text to speech back again to the device, like an Amazon Echo. And as a developer, you can concentrate on the custom skill code, creating the logic of your skill. And you can host your skill code yourself. It's just a web service. But even better is running as a serverless AWS Lambda function. An Alexa skill is like a perfect case for serverless. It's usually only a limited piece of business logic consuming other services, like the S-Banking Open Banking API. So, as mentioned, one of the important tasks of the Alexa service platform is mapping my voice commands into intents that can be fed to my skill. So this is one of my voice commands from earlier. So Alexa is like that's the wake word, which gets Alexa's attention. And it starts listening more closely to what I'm saying. Ask is the launch word, is one of the launch words, which in connection with an invocation name, in this case S-Banking, enables Alexa to understand which custom skill I'm trying to invoke. And an utterance, that's the rest in green and orange, is what the person says to Alexa. And utterances are made up of keyword commands, like natural speech, sounds like filler words, and slots for information that varies. So below here is some sample utterances for my account intent. So representing different ways that users might formulate themselves when they want their account balance. And more of these are better because people will be inaccurate, like I've been several times. People will forget filler words, they will use slang, etc. It's like real-world Alexa skills will have maybe 100, maybe 200, maybe 1,000 different sample utterances. I have 3. This is the resulting intent. There's a mapping here from my sample utterances to account intent, which I've configured in AWS Alexa, and it has the slot value of savings as a parameter. So here's a bit of code from my custom skill. You can write your custom skills in a number of languages. I've chosen Python. Reason for this is not only is Python really good at avoiding boilerplate code, but there exists a Python module called Flask Ask, which is pretty much, it dispenses with boilerplate code altogether. It handles everything having to do with the requests and responses. And all I have to do is like decorate my method with a correct intent name, and the function is called with a slot value as a parameter. So when the account intent with a slot value account name is sent to my skill, the method account is called. So I get a token with a HTTP session, and I do a get account, which calls the S-Banking API. I pick out the JSON field I want, which is the balance, put that into text, and I just return statement speech, and Alexa talks. That's pretty much it. That's all I got. So please go out there and make some awesome Alexa skills and cool third-party bank solutions. If you want to get started like I did, here's a few links. And I have 10 minutes, so I only got to scratch the surface a little bit. If you want to learn from someone who actually knows what they're talking about, I believe Alexa evangelist Jeff Blankenberg is talking about understanding Alexa now at 3 o'clock. And I think he's giving a 2-part workshop tomorrow. I know I'm going there. So if you have any questions or want to chat about PSD2 or Alexa, please come see me at the Know It stand. And you can win a couple of Amazon Echoes there as well to kickstart your Alexa skills motivation. Thank you.